Wow, good morning, hockey fans. Welcome to reintroduction of the five hole. It's been a while since we've had one of these. It's just, just timing of things and whatnot and what happens sometimes. I got Aaron and James with me. My name is Brandon. We're going to be talking some hockey, NHL, all kinds of stuff for you today. So thanks for tuning in. If you've already tuned in, and we're going to jump right into the action with a huge trade that happened last night between the Carolina Hurricanes, the Colorado Avalanche, and for some reason, the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't know. It just doesn't make it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Any quick thoughts on it before we get into the trade details, Aaron?
Just loved what Chicago did. Saying that with a lot of quotations.
Yeah. James?
Definitely one of the biggest trades I recall in season in the salary cap era.
Yeah.
Big. I was absolutely shocked by it.
Yeah, it was kind of out of the blue. I guess. Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, for us, it was out of the blue. We're like, whoa, last night as I was sitting on my couch and I saw the first little thing, that say, Rantanen is going to be traded. They just don't know. You don't know any details yet, and it's like, okay, like what's Colorado trying to do now? But anyways, so what happened here in this trade? So the Carolina Hurricanes received forward Mikko Rantanen, forward Taylor Hall, and the player rights to forward. It's Niels Juntrip. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. Colorado received forward Martin Nikas, who we talked about. Me and Aaron were talking about it beforehand. Like Carolina signed him to that contract in the offseason because there was all the trade talks and whatnot. They ended up signing him and whatnot. So now he's going to Colorado along with forward Jack Drury, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 fourth-round pick, which I'm guessing were thrown in once the deal was actually finished and whatnot, because that wasn't, at least what I saw, wasn't part of the initial trade. And then Chicago.
The best piece of all.
A 2025 third-round pick that they already traded to, was it Colorado or was it
Carolina?
It was already to Carolina, so they just got it back. But they also took on 50% of Martin Nikas' contract, which is like $9.5 million.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
A guy is not even on the team, but let's just pay for him.
Yeah.
For a third-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
That blows my mind. That actually, I almost consider that like the worst, the most mind-blowing part of the trade in and of itself.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. You're a team that's trying to build around a so-called NHL superstar right now in Connor Bedard, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you have to get something out of that if you're going to do, and not just a third-round pick. You got to get a rather it's a ready to go prospect, something like that, somebody to help fill. I mean, who are they going to have fill Taylor Hall's spot now?
Anyone from Rockford? Their AHL's team.
Yeah.
So they're just going to grab guys like that. I knew the guys they were picking up, like the Pat Maroons, Alec Martinez's, and all of them. Yeah. I knew they were just bridgers, and they're going to trade them off anyways, depending on the season. I thought they're going to be a little bit better with all these vets around Connor Bedard, but they still suck. So they might just have to go the AHL route, just keep figuring out what they have, and just clean a house like that. I don't know.
Well, that's part of it too. They signing these guys. Who are they? What's their motive? Already lost it earlier.
Yeah.
They're playing as.
Yeah, it just because it's one of those things. I think we'll look back, later on and be like, oh, Carolina's already won, and it could change. It could change, but looking at it right now, Carolina won this trade, by far. Like, it's not even close in my eyes of who won this trade right now.
Fine, Rantanen, because I was looking online this morning before we started, and he is honked off. He is not happy with the trade. And he didn't want to go to Carolina. He's mad at Colorado for trading him. because one of the biggest things this year was, can they re-sign him before he becomes a free agent?
Mm-hmm.
They were never going to be able to, pretty much. So they decided to throw a pin, make a move while they could.
Yeah, he is. I had it in here, or found it last night. He's got one. Nope, that's Jack Drury.
He wants 14 mil, and his agent is Leon Draisaitl's agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and he's 28, so it kind of makes sense that he wants that kind of money. He's still pretty good, but is this more like a Jake Gensel situation for the Hurricanes last year? And like Rantanen will get them farther in the playoffs. That's got to be their logic.
That's what I kind of thought.
Yeah,
they're good for this. They'll make a big trade for some type of a winger or something to get them to that next level. But then, do they have the salary cap to sign him? The big question. I mean, I know that that Brett Burns is off the books after this year, and somebody else is. So it's possible if that's what they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, looking at like 14 million, probably around that mark, if he actually wants to stay in Carolina. But if he didn't want to be traded to Carolina, I don't know if that's something that happens. So yeah, I think it could be a Jake Gensel situation all over again, where they make this big trade mid-season for a top guy, top 10 player probably in the NHL right now in Rantanen, and he just leaves in the offseason because he only has 1 year. He has 1 year left, like the rest of this year on his contract. And he's a free agent. So I'd almost guarantee. I wouldn't say almost guaranteed, but it's probably going to be that type of situation again, where he's going to test the market to see if he can get that, 14 million that he wanted from Colorado, that he's not going to get now, and see what happens.
Yeah, because I mean Nathan McKinnon's making 12.6, and I think Nathan McKinnon's a little bit better than Rantanen.
Yeah.
And they still got to sign Cale Makar in a couple of years. So
yeah,
good luck.
He's going to get more than McKinnon. Like, he could get the biggest contract in NHL history, and it's worth it.
Yeah,
I can see that. So with this trade, do you think Sidney Crosby guarantee Colorado?
Thinking about that. That's just thought that. I hope that does, but I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he wants to go to the playoffs. He hasn't been for 2 years,
2 or 3 years, right? It's been a little bit.
Yeah. I think their playoff struggle. They're missing a playoff struggle about the same time the Blues did.
Yeah.
That's about 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They used James's message that he said last night when he was like, Crosby to Colorado. He's like, I just want to throw up in my mouth.
It doesn't sound right. It's just
yeah.
I was good back in the 90s with Ray Bork going to Colorado. That was just a different situation. Crosby going there just does not fit the mold. But it's his choice.
It would be weird to see Crosby in a different uniform besides a Penguin uniform.
Right.
It'd just be weird. It'd be like, that would have been like seeing Datsuk in a, Coyote
Thrashers jersey.
Yeah, or something. Just something weird.
Maybe
jersey. That would have been weird. Datsuk in a Sharks jersey. Ooh.
I mean, maybe me as the Rangers fan, maybe he should just stay in Pittsburgh and not win anything else. He's got his 3. I'm good. Let him just rot with this team.
He's a for sure Hall of Famer, and there's no way. The guy's been there the whole time. You don't see athletes anymore. Few and far between stay with one team their whole career, and you have 2 of them right now in the Eastern with Ovechkin. 3. Who else?
Yeah, like Malkin.
Oh yeah,
Chris,
Malkin.
That trio itself, but if you're talking like superstar, I would say Malkin would probably be the 3rd. He's still.
Well, yeah, he hasn't been anywhere but Pittsburgh. That's been his place, and I don't know. I don't know if Pittsburgh would be willing to. You're gonna have to get. I mean, I know what Sidney Crosby is towards the end of his career, but I think you're still gonna have to give up quite a bit for him.
Maybe, I don't know. Kyle Dubas is just a wild card.
That's true. That is true. Maybe they just make a trade with Toronto. Send Mitch Marner to Pittsburgh.
There's no way he's got no move. Either no move or no trade.
Yeah,
there's no way he would accept that.
Yeah. What was that, James?
I just threw up on my mouth more when you said that. So the big factor though is Sidney Crosby has an $8.7 million year contract.
Yeah,
that out of superstition, but that's a benefit for any team that if he really wants to go to contender, like an $8.5 million contract is easy for a team to figure that out.
Yeah,
anybody who is close and will Crosby has to put them over the edge. That's the guy that if it can happen, make it happen. I say.
So he's going to Vegas. Okay, got it.
What's wrong with you guys?
Just put Mark Stone on the long-term IL, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, they grabbed a shark in Thomas Hurdle or Tomas Hurdle.
Yeah.
It's about that time. It
is.
It's Mark Stone LTIR.
Well, they're getting to the Vegas is getting to a point where they're gonna either have to keep doing that or they're gonna have to just start shipping guys out because they can't. There's no way they can keep going with what they're doing.
What do you mean? They're in Sin City. They got the money. Just go play on blackjack. Get your money.
Yeah. Here's Crosby's contract. Give me 14 black. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. enough about that trade in Crosby and all that other fun. Which the trade deadline is actually coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, expect Chris Drury to just go
February.
Wild. I think it's March 7th or March 3rd.
Yeah.
Huh?
I
think about a month and a half from now.
Yeah. So it's getting there. It's getting close. Getting close. Let's jump over to the standings. I'll bring them here up on the screen. Bang. Whoa. Why are we off to the bottom? That's weird. I don't like that either. Okay, we'll just go with it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just behind Alex Ovechkin in the chase for 894. So, it's cool. It's cool. Any surprises? And are you Aaron? Are you surprised that the Washington Capitals are still? They're 33-10.
No, I'm not surprised. They were winning without Ovechkin. They're winning with them. They did what they needed to do in the off season. Logan Thompson is like, to me, is like their MVP. I don't even think he's lost a start yet. That's how good he's been.
Well, they're 8-0-2 in their last, and they've won 6 straight with the goal differential plus 54. Plus 54. That's insane.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but 8-point lead on the Carolina Hurricanes and a 11-point lead on the third place team, the New Jersey Devils.
That's going to be tough for Jersey. They lost Markstrom for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
No, it really doesn't affect them too much. That's got to be at least 7 starts before the Four Nations. So I guess that's bad for them, but not really. Like Jake Allen's okay, but I can see them sliding a little bit.
Yeah,
in the Metro.
The Four Nations thing's coming up middle of February.
Yeah,
middle of February. Well, I was thinking it was a lot sooner than that. It's not though. Toronto has the lead in the Atlantic. James, surprise Florida. Florida's right there with them, and it's 62 points for Toronto, 59 points for Florida, 55 for Tampa Bay. I feel like this division isn't quite as big of a gap as the Metropolitan.
Yeah, those 3 teams, they're always just absolute warriors when it comes to playing against each other, right? And Florida is always a lower. I say they're just not as good of a regular season team.
Mm-hmm.
Playoff time, once they get in, it's like that's it. Like, what are they going to do? Like, they put it into the highest everybody. So I think they're sitting good. It's nice to see Tampa Bay back in that mix. After last, they really struggled a lot, but now, the moves they made, I was, being where they are right now, that's kind of a surprise to me, but it's good to see though too. So
yeah,
definitely closer than the Metro.
Yeah, it's definitely. There's a clear difference there. Toronto would be third place in the Metro if they were over in that division, which is kind of crazy to look at things like that. Jump down to the wild card. Aaron, your New York Rangers have found a little bit of a spark lately. You know, sitting at 52 points, 2 points out of a wild card spot.
And we're just getting started on trades.
What do you think happened there for that little bit of time? I thought I looked at the standings at one point and I was like, dang, like they're falling off hard.
It's not even they were falling off hard; they were just being soft.
Yeah,
and I've said it like a bunch of times on Twitter, like Condre Miller, he needs to go. So if anyone wants a defenseman, you guys can have him because he doesn't even play defense. He plays offense for the other team. Mika Zibanejad, I don't know what was going on in his head. Like he just looked like he just was just out there. He was just, I'm just gonna skate, get my money. I don't really care. Like it was only maybe 2-3 guys, and Peter Laviolette sent one of them down to the AHL in Brett Berard. So this team's been a little wild, but I like the Borgen. I can't even say his last name. It's like the guy we traded for Anaheim, that defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pairing for them. I still think we should try to trade Ryan Lindgren too, just because it's not really doing anything for this team. But I think they're starting to click a little bit. But I feel like for us, Philip Hedl needs to go because he's just one check into the boards away from being out for like the year. Even though he's playing really well, I think he just needs to go. But I don't know. I think with Igor being hurt and then coming back, and I think we've been 6-0-1 since. I think that's why you pay a guy $11.5 million.
Yeah, 7-0-3 in the last 10 games for the Rangers is what this is showing. +2 goal differential. Trade proposal for you for the Rangers. We'll send you Nick Leddy for Adam Fox. Sounds like
only if Chicago pays half of Adam Fox's salary.
That's fine. We could probably figure it out, or we could get Ottawa to do it. Somebody. Anaheim.
Do you guys like that Montreal's been climbing up since they're like a pretty bad defensive team? Like at one point they were like in the wild card.
Yeah. 24-20. This whole group right here. This is the team that surprised me the most is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Still, I just little. I don't know. I just don't feel like they have that. Then again, I don't really, get to see the Blue Jackets play too often. I know they beat the crap out of the Blues every time they play them, but other than that, I'm surprised Columbus is there. But yeah, Montreal right there, Ottawa right there. Is it just because the Eastern Conference weaker than it normally is?
I would say so. I think the Atlantic's a pretty weak division this year. Like Boston, I don't know how they're hanging on right now. I feel like they're just a very bad team.
Yeah. Were you surprised they got rid of Jim Montgomery when they did? I'm happy they did, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you guys should be happy that happened. I really thought he was going to go to Detroit, but
yeah. I don't know. I just didn't. This whole group right here from Boston down to, I mean, shoot, Detroit's still technically in it. Pittsburgh.
Do you guys like that? A little Todd McClellan action returning back to Detroit?
They won like 6 straight games.
Yeah, they were like 7-1 at one point with them.
Yeah. James, any thoughts on the Eastern Conference?
I mean, really, like, looking at the stats and looking at the differential, I do not keeping that wild card spot. I think, honestly, I do think the Rangers have, if they can keep turning around like they are, I think they slide in.
Yeah.
To me, like, it's just like what Aaron said. It's almost improbable to see the Bruins being up there where they are. I guess they're just getting just the right wins, but that can't sustain when you have that type of goal differential. It goes to show you that they're struggling to score goals. They are nowhere near as good as they were the last couple of years. Yeah. And, it's definitely something that needs to change there. I do like seeing Columbus in that spot. Really, I think they could keep that. They're a high octane offense. Celebrini is just leading that team the right way, the way that you're supposed to, the way that Connor Bedard was apparently supposed to in Chicago. That has not happened.
Yeah.
So, to see those people in there, I'm hoping Columbus stays in just because I like to see some mix up in the playoffs. But if I was a betting man, not because I'm broke, I would definitely, but probably the Rangers, and I would go with Columbus wildcard spots.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I like it. They definitely weren't a pick of mine to get into the playoffs at the start of the season. But hey, we have surprise teams for a reason.
Facts.
Let's see here. Jump down to the gosh dang. Western Conference. Winnipeg still holds a lead in the Central Division, which has just been, it was back and forth for a little bit earlier on in the season. Dallas at 2, Minnesota at 3. There's the 3 teams that have been there basically from the start of the season. Is Winnipeg poised to raise a Stanley Cup, or is this just going to be another one of those one and done years?
I thought they were supposed to go 82-0. I mean, that's what I saw. They were 15-1.
They could have been. They could have.
I mean, Connor Hellebuyck's playing out of his mind. This team's pretty close. I mean, that differential is plus 53.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to argue, but I think they're just a regular season team. I think something's going to happen in the playoffs where they just fold.
Yeah. James, what do you think? Being able to see the Central Division teams a little bit more.
As much as I think Winnipeg is a good team, I think their issue is they always, just like what Aaron said, they're a regular season team. They run hard. They play Connor Hellebuyck like usually 75% of the starts.
Mm-hmm.
And much break, even though they have a commanding lead right now in the Central. And then you play a team that kicks it in high gear to make it to the playoffs at the end, whoever that may be in that wild card spot. And then Winnipeg gets trounced style of play. They're not a strong physical team. They play offense all the time, but eventually that kills you in the playoffs.
Right.
My thought is like Dallas is probably the team to beat at this point in the Central, and maybe in the Western Conference. They come out there with great goaltending from Ottinger, and Jamie Benn has apparently found the fountain of youth again, which is stupidly annoying. But again, you could hate the Stars as much as you want, but they're a good team, and they're a good playoff team too.
Yeah, they are a good playoff team. They always have been. I mean, at least the last couple of years, they've been one of the top teams. I just noticed this as I was looking at this. The Minnesota Wild are 11-11-1 at home, 17-5-3 on the road. That's kind of usually it's the other way around. You look at Dallas, they're 18-7-1 at home and 12-10-0 on the road.
Minnesota is a bunch of road warriors.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. It's just funky. You don't typically see that too often. Usually it's the other way around. Hey, Aaron, my LA Kings are still right there. They're
well, you did say they were going to win the division, so
yep, they're right there. They're
11-11-4 away. So there you go.
11-11 away.
A pretty good home record for them. I didn't expect that.
It's hard to win in LA. It's hard to win in LA.
That is like the exact same difference between the Wild and the Kings in terms of home and away records.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I mean, Minnesota's got 3 more games on the Kings right now too. So yeah, I mean, even it out. I mean, it's basically the same thing. Any I don't say surprises in the Pacific, because I think we all, outside of me, I thought Seattle was going to be better than they are, but they're not. So that's where that is. Vegas, Edmonton, LA. It's your top 3 teams in the Pacific right now. Does Edmonton end up winning this division, or is it going to be somebody else?
I still like Vegas.
Yeah.
But it all depends on Mark Stone. Can he survive the whole season?
Yeah, that's fair. James?
But I mean, Jack Eichel, though, is amazing.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's been good. I don't know. The Oilers started kind of poor here. Now they're just climbing back, and I think the trade deadline is going to really decide what happens. Like, does Vegas pull their magic again and get someone out of the blue that no one expects.
Yeah.
Or does Edmonton, does McDavid and Draisaitl, I mean, I know always who they are, but, I'm still waiting for McDavid to kick into that gear that no one else has and just will the team to get better.
Yeah.
But they still have to, which that's their big problem. Their goaltending just isn't as good as the Knights.
That's always been Edmonton's issue the last several years as well. Outside of last year, I would say. I mean, during the regular season, yes. During the playoffs, it wasn't their issue. Just they Stanley Cup final team last year. In the Oilers, I mean, they're still a good team. They still got a majority of their guys that were there last year that are back this year. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that they're where they are right now in the West. Look at the wild card, though. You have Colorado, 58 points, Calgary, 53. Vancouver is somehow keeping pace. They're at a -19 goal differential. I mean, outside of Colorado, the West is not good.
It's a little wild.
Literally.
Really. I mean,
do you guys have any hope for St. Louis? It was my understanding with Jim Montgomery as the new head coach that you guys are going to the Cup.
I said this last year too. If they can't beat the teams that are under them, and I want to say Columbus because I didn't realize where Columbus was in the standings when we played them last week and a half ago. Like where they were at, they're a better hockey team than I thought. But you still have to beat the guys that are underneath of you. The Anaheim, San Jose, Chicago. You can't beat those guys. You're not going to make the playoffs. That's what screwed the Blues out of the playoffs last year, is that they didn't win those games. You look at the Blues' second half of their schedule last year, towards the end of the season, you're playing like San Jose 2 times, Chicago 2 or 3 times, Columbus last year 2 or 3 times at the end of the season. And those are games you got to win if you want to make the playoffs. And I think they could sneak in. Do I think they do anything? I don't know.
I mean, you got goaltending, right?
We have the goaltending. We have Cam Fowler, who's somehow found his 28-year-old self again, playing better than some of the guys who have been part of this team for a while now. But I don't know. James, what do you think? Do you think the Blues sneak in, or do you think they're gonna just miss out again?
I'm worried that they're gonna miss out again, and this is coming from someone who I'm a Blues homer. I will, but I'm a realist. I know what a team like, and so I've been to a couple games this year, which I was happy to do. I went to Star Wars night where they they won. I think it was 5-1 was the score. It was done. They just did everything correct.
Yeah.
That was against Columbus. So they dominated Columbus. But then the next time they play Columbus, get smoked. So that's their lack of consistency is what's going to kill them. Not about beating teams below them. It's just the fact they can't build a 3-game winning streak. They haven't done one yet. They're literally the only team in the NHL that doesn't have a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And that right there is a killer. Like if you look at the standings, they're 3 points out. They beat the Flames twice.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the wherewithal to do it, but they have to just close the deal the best way they can.
Yeah.
And, to me, this is a year where they could do it. Vancouver's the Avalanche are good, but I mean, they're a wild card team, which is a surprise. So, and some of the other teams that were supposed to be good are not. Like, if you scroll that down, Nashville's way down. That's a shock. So, if there's any time to do this, there's the Blackhawks at the bottom. The teams that were supposed to be good are not. So this is a time for teams like the Blues and maybe even Utah to push their way up there and make it a chance for the playoffs. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have 3 Central Division teams that are in the fight for the wild card spot right now. And they still got, they've quite a few games against each other still for the rest of the season. too, which will be nice. Because then, like, I mean, yeah, you obviously he doesn't rely on beating the teams below you, but you also have to beat those teams too. To gain ground on them. We always talk about those. You always hear it all the time, like, oh, this is a 4-point game. When I was younger, I had no freaking clue what that even was. Like, what do you mean it's a 4-point game? Like, what did the rules change? Like, like, how do you mean it's a 4? No, it's like the difference. Like, hey, you gain that much ground between you and because they're above you. Like, okay, I guess that makes sense. In the long run, you get 4 points in between you and that team now instead of 2.
And Calgary has three games under Colorado, so they could definitely win some games right there.
Yeah,
take that one.
I think what we see here, though, in with the wild card is exactly what James said about the Blues. Is that every single team in the wild card hunt right now in the West is too inconsistent. Calgary is the same way. Vancouver is the same way. Utah is the same way. Utah win 2 or 3 big games, and then they'll lose 2 or 3 or 4 games in a row. So does that.
That's the Coyotes for you.
So do the Flames. No, hey, it's not the Coyotes anymore. It's the Utah Hockey Club.
I'm just saying they.
Which their trademark for the Yetis got denied. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh God.
Or not. Or rejected, not denied. Rejected.
You can't. You could take the Coyotes out of Phoenix, but you can't take the Phoenix out of the Coyotes.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That is fair. Any final thoughts on the standings and whatnot, and kind of the playoff hunt for the rest of the season?
Yeah, JT Miller's a cancer to the Canucks. Rick Tocchet, get it done.
Amen. Amen.
What?
You know what? I'll say this. I think we're going to see what it looks like once we come up to the 4 Nations break.
Yeah.
See where it stands, and then after that, it's game on big time.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Holy crap. Sorry to interrupt. I got access to Savannah Banana tickets here at Busch in April.
Lucky.
Oh, it doesn't begin. Your access begins. Okay, I got told the 29th, so we're good. It doesn't open till the 29th, so we're solid. Okay.
Stop right now and go right to buy.
Yeah. All right, so we got to end the stream. I got to go get Savannah Banana.
So yeah.
We'll see you later. When I got because I know not everybody got the email, like to the early access or whatever, whatnot, to fight off the scalpers who will raise the prices 3 or 4 times higher than they should be. I was pretty pumped. I saw it. I was in my email. My wife actually texted me about it. She's like, "Hey, our friend Des got early access to the ticket, whatever, priority access, whatever, to the Savannah Bananas." I'm like, "Oh, let me check my email." And I was like, "Oh, there it is. It's right there." And I was like, "Yeah, like, let's go." And I thought, she got me all excited because she's like, "It's the tickets. You can actually buy the tickets right now." And I'm like, "No way." And then I went in there and it's like, "Oh, you still have to wait another round." It's like, oh, like, a way to disappoint my day.
Struggle is real.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It's what it is.
Not given a rose to proceed forward. So
yeah.
Never seen.
Basically. Let me pull this off of here. Quick question: does Ovechkin get $8.95? It's in the bottom, and I'm going to keep that there and update it every time we have a show. So,
I said it in the beginning of the season, like, the Washington Capitals are actually just letting him just play hockey. He's not the focal point anymore. Mm-hmm. So he could possibly get it done. Do you think, though, because he has another year left on his deal, so if he passes Gretzky, do you think after this year, like, he's just like, I got my cup, I passed Gretzky, I'm done, I'm out of here?
I think he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do. I think if he gets the record, I think he's out.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Yes, then I think he'll get it. I think he's gonna push that so he could just retire out in the sunset.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Do you think if he gets it this year, he retires this year, or does he go?
Nah, he's done. I think he's done if he gets it.
I think so.
Him and Crosby just need to go out at the same time. Just let it be. Don't pull the whole oh, I was in the league longer than him. Like, no, you guys are two of the main superstars of the NHL during the, late 2000s all the way up till now. Go out together, ride off into the sunset. You both have won Stanley Cups. You both are Hall of Famers. Just do your thing.
Best thing that they could do is the game series next year between those two.
Yeah.
Like as the swan song, since just beg and plead both of them, like, just stay this year. Let's get you a stadium series. Let's make millions upon millions of dollars. And that would be the great way to cap off both of them.
Yeah. That would be cool. That would be cool to do. But they gave Tampa Bay the stadium series next year against
Florida.
Florida. No. Florida's playing New York.
Yeah.
In the Winter Classic. Tampa Bay.
Oh, they did a stadium series. Oh, I didn't hear about that one. For
Tampa has a stadium series. Is it? I have to look it up. Hold on. I have it on my phone.
That's so weird. I don't understand. I mean, I get it because like the East has run through Florida the last 5 years, but
they have retractable domes, so they're not going to have an issue weather-wise.
But would that be a stadium series though? If it's like
that's
in a bubble. Honestly though, I would rather go to a Minnesota, not Minnesota, like a North Dakota or Montana, like somewhere like that. Get those fans in there because they're all diehards up there for hockey. I was joking for the stadium series, Sioux Falls, but that's obviously for college hockey. But that's a pretty nice arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the topics that we'll talk about here in a little bit.
All right.
Or you know what? I'll push the Auston Matthews thing back one. Let's talk about Panthers Rangers in the Winter Classic in Miami. Aaron, you got to be excited, right? So Rangers in another Winter Classic uniform for the team. I don't know how many more they're going to be able to do. I mean, the Blues got a bunch of slack for theirs this year, and I thought they were the best. In my opinion, they were the better of the three so far. I thought they were fantastic. I thought the history behind it, what they did, how they tied things into this hockey team that was in St. Louis, so long ago. I thought they were cool.
I thought it was okay. Even this even the game I thought was just meh.
Well, it's two teams on two completely different levels right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of tired of the Rangers being Winter Classics, to be honest. I would rather want some fresh blood in there. I feel like it's just the same regurgitated teams that are doing. I wonder if there's anything in Canada where you could have a stadium series like that.
They have the Heritage Classic though, so that's their.
I guess it's true.
Series.
I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting. People were talking about it, how are you going to get snow in Florida? But I guess you can. It's happened this year, so.
True. That's true. 6 inches in parts of Florida.
Yeah, so I guess it could happen, but that's going to be an interesting series next year. If the Rangers don't upgrade, I don't know. I don't see how they're beating Florida.
Yeah,
in all honesty.
Yeah, crazy. James, what's your thoughts on? Gary Bettman said the other during the Winter Classic, he said it's going to be something unique, something we haven't done yet, and I immediately was like, LA inside of SoFi Stadium where they could sell out that whole place, 100,000 people, whatever. LA, Anaheim, Battle of Los Angeles makes sense. And then the other thought was like, oh, they're going to go to Florida.
Well, at least on a good note, at least there's two good teams that are going to play in it in the Rangers and Florida, as opposed to if they did do a Kings and Anaheim. I mean, Anaheim, I don't know what their deal is when it comes to, they've been struggling for years.
Yeah.
They need, Coach Bombay back. I don't know what their deal is, but it's a challenging game. I know the weather's going to be interesting, but they are film. So, and I don't know the history offhand, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the first time, the Angels ever played retractable dome. But maybe this time, scheduling wise, though, they actually make the Winter Classic be the only game, as playing 6 other games on the same night.
It was more than that. It was 11.
Yeah, that's your premium. That is the seller next to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yes,
be the one you go, this is why we do this, Boy fans, this is for you.
Yeah.
No, oh, well, I know you guys think these teams suck, but so we're going to put 10 more teams out there and play. Like,
right.
Ridiculous.
And then you play Jersey and LA on New Year's Day. You should just swap that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I've seen Winter Classics. I think it was the Rangers Flyers was like 2 days after. Like, it was like January 2nd or 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
All those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they come out and they were like, oh, it was the lowest viewed Winter Classic of all time. I was like, well, that's because you scheduled 10 other games that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't schedule 10 other games and expect your big marquee matchup of the season in the middle of the season, basically, to be that popular. And it's between the Blues and the Blackhawks, and a lot of people do not like those teams.
Right.
A lot of NHL fans hate the Blues. They hate the Blackhawks. So they're not going to sit there and watch them because it's the Winter Classic. And you're like, no, I'm going to go watch my team go play. How many people were at a game, watching it live instead of watching the Winter Classic because the NHL scheduled 10 other games that day. Like
I watched like 10 minutes of that game and I bounced and I was watching the whatever else was on.
It really wasn't even that good of a game, to be honest.
I mean, I was watching the game, but I could have easily switched it because I'm like, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy, but it's like it wasn't a great game.
Yeah.
And you put other things for them to watch, fans are going to go watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. They just didn't have that, and I don't know if it was just a marketing thing the NHL did. I thought
it is
decently did a decent job at marketing the Winter Classic, but it's still got to be that's your big game. That's your big regular season game.
Yeah, they're pushing hard for this Connor Bedard marketing.
It's not going to work because you already see other guys in the NHL right now, younger guys in Celebrini and the guy's name the guy who just got his hat trick, Fantelli.
Oh, Fantelli, yeah, he's been buried a little bit.
Guys, Winter Classic, then Bedard right now because he's not living up to the hype that they were expecting.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get to see Fantelli in the Stadium Series at University of Ohio, at the Horseshoe here in a couple weeks, which will be a fun game. Should be between Detroit and Columbus, and it's two teams that are kind of in the mix of things in the East, so that should be a good one to watch. I forgot who Tampa's playing in their Stadium Series next year. I want to say, is it Boston?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
I'm gonna look it up because I forgot. That's what I was trying to do. Oh, God dang it! It honestly would. It's either Boston or it's Carolina, which is
just they use Carolina more in like Stadium Series and stuff. I thought they did a pretty good job when they were in Raleigh.
Yeah,
because those fans really show up in North Carolina.
I'm surprised they don't use the Hurricanes enough. Like that's a good, good fan base.
Yeah.
Good, and that's an area too that weather-wise they can make that work.
Mm-hmm. It is Tampa Bay and Boston.
Okay. See, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
That's not a bad matchup at all.
Tampa Bay and Boston, February 1st at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. So that'll be an interesting one to watch as well next year, at least. So we'll see. We'll stick with teams in the Eastern Conference. Not a whole bunch going on in the Western Conference in terms of drama, but Auston Matthews had a little bit to say about the fans after the apparently best fight of the last 10 years between Ryan Reeves and gosh dang, I forgot the other guy's name.
Olivieri.
Yeah. Is he Ranger?
No,
it was Blue Jacket.
Blue Jacket?
He fought Matt Rempe last year.
Yeah.
But this guy, he knows how to hit. That's the thing.
Anyways, Auston Matthews had a little bit of kind of criticism for the fans after that fight and whatnot. We'll pull this up here really quickly, and I'll play it for you. Hopefully the sound is.
It was great. It was great. Obviously, I mean, that's still a big part of the game, and he's a big part of this team. And you love to see that. Would like a little more energy, from the crowd after that. I thought, it was a little quiet tonight, especially after guy, two guys like that go at it. But it was, I think, a great moment for him. But give us some energy on the bench. I was.
What do you think?
The dude's been there for 9 years, and you're doing this on a Wednesday night, 90 seconds in. How many people was it Scotiabank going to be?
Yeah.
Packed at 7:00 on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And who knows besides us, like, who Olivieri is? Like that guy is a heavyweight out there, and Ryan Reeves really hasn't been doing anything this year. I haven't seen him in much fights.
Yeah.
So it's like he's getting old. I mean, I like that Ryan Reeves fought. He showed the Maple Leafs, hey, this is my purpose. I'm not just some guy that gets healthy scratches on the fourth line. But, nah, Auston Matthews is in the wrong on this one. I don't know why he would say that.
Okay. All right. Just feel like I don't know. I could see why
Wednesday.
I get that, but you have a top team. You're the top team in one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. You should. I mean, I didn't realize it was 90 seconds into the game, so that makes a lot more sense. But still, he's kind of calling out the fans a little bit, being like, "Hey, you got to be a little bit more into the game, understand what's going on, a little bit." James, what do you think of Matthews' comments about just the energy?
Toronto as a whole always screams they're the people that always want the participation trophy. They always expect it's like LeBron James, I demand to be loved and appreciated and revered. Well, like Aaron said, it is a Wednesday, 90. I'm like, and Olivier is a heavy hitter, but Tyler Tucker fought Olivier the last time the Blues played the Blue Jackets.
Right.
Fought Olivier, and it was a great fight. And Matthews needs to just not worry about the fans going ballistic over a fight. You should be worried about scoring goals and winning your games. Like, as much as I love seeing a fight in the NHL, it's not what it used to be 20 years ago, even 30 years ago.
Yeah.
For its purpose of trying to get the crowd going or the team going, mainly the team. Like, they need a spark that helps. But 90 seconds into a game, to me, is never really much of a spark. It's really just like, I'm going to show off my fighting skills to this guy, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not even a team that Toronto sees too often in Columbus. So I don't know. Is it just, you kind of read my mind a little bit. I was like, is this the point? Like fans just don't care about fighting in the NHL anymore?
I don't believe that. I mean,
it just doesn't have that.
Do you want to go college hockey rules and just have no fighting? Which
That's
they need to
the
bring
plan.
back, by the way.
That's what the NHL has been trying to do. So
why? You're gonna lose most of your fan base.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
There's still a lot to do with fighting. It's good, but it's the setup of the fight. I don't think a fight 90 seconds into a game is going to do anything. Not that deal. If you're in the middle of a game and say Toronto's down by a couple goals and fights Olivier, that's a big difference. I think the crowd goes wild then because all right, these guys actually have some life. Let's see what happens.
Right.
So, I think it's still there. It serves its purpose, but it's easier to pick your time and place when to fight now than what it used to be.
Yeah. And plus too, I think if it was Toronto, Montreal, yeah. Oh yeah. I think a lot of people would be there already before 7:00.
Right.
Original 6 up there. Even last year, Rangers Devils, literally 2 seconds into the game, Matt Rempe's going up against McDermott, but that's a rival. I think that was on a Thursday night. And it wasn't just Matt Rempe fighting. It was Keandre Miller and I think Jacob Trouba. So it's three dudes fighting. Most of the starting five was fighting. Laviette knew that and put out these guys who weren't really going to play.
Right.
So I guess it's like that would work, but nothing like you said, Brand, like Columbus. Like it's not really like a rival to Toronto. Like that.
Yeah. That's fair. I thought it was interesting, and I listened to that clip the other night, and I was like, it's the first time I've heard that, Matthews been a little, critical of like, the fans just really weren't excited tonight. Like, I don't know. It just as an NHL superstar, it's kind of, I
mean,
it's a little surprising to hear.
Yeah, I don't issue if Matthews calling it out like that, but
yeah.
Pick and choose the battles on that situation.
He needs. Yeah,
that's a good thing. Like that's a sign of a good captain to say, basically like we do have a good team. We just, our fans got to be there.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on that. I thought just wrong place, wrong time is kind of what I'm hearing. To
pretty much
to bring up something like that. So if this was in the middle of the playoffs and whatnot, the fans were just like, eh.
Oh, I like
that would have been insane if that was the case.
Yeah. Not calling out the fans.
Yeah.
Like definite.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. All right. One more final thing before we get out of here today. Pull this up here. So the NHL has been doing these quarter century teams. And I think they started the Winter Classic with the Blues and Blackhawks and whatnot. But the Detroit Red Wings one came out, I guess Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah,
I believe. And I just kind of want to see what you guys think. Look at some of these names on the list here. This is the first team, quarter century team. So from 2000 to 2025, you have forward Pavel Datsyuk, forward Steve Yzerman, forward Kendrick Zetterberg. No problem with those guys.
Perfect.
Should be there. Defenseman Nicholas Kronwall, and then Nicholas Lindstrom on defense. The one thing that surprised me, I thought, was the goaltender, Chris Osgood, his first team for the Detroit Red Wings.
Jimmy Howard.
That's not even the guy I was thinking of. The guy who I was thinking of was second team.
No, I know. I just wanted to throw his name out there.
I mean, you could. The guy who I thought, though, would be there in the second team. So you have second team for the Detroit Red Wings. You have Fedorov, Dylan Larkin, which
weird.
That's weird.
And I feel like the only one with the helmet on.
I feel like they had to push him in there. He's the only one who's not celebrating a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that one makes no sense.
Brendan Shanahan,
who they should replace Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody. I mean,
I was trying to think of it. I mean, I'm not really sure.
Osgood should not be first team goalie.
I thought it would be Hasek.
I mean, I don't know. Like that's just I don't know. I personally cannot stand Chris Osgood. I think he was a coattails goaltender, like who's just there for the team.
Yeah.
Like he really didn't single-handedly win a Stanley Cup for any of the Red Wings teams. Never has. And then when he went to another team, he sucked. He was just atrocious.
Yeah. Defensively, you got Chris Chelios and Brian Rafalski. I thought Dominic Hasek was, when I was looking at this the other day, and I saw that Chris Osgood was one on first team. I'm like, there's no way. Like you have to have Dominic Hasek has to be number one. He has to be the first team. It just doesn't seem right to not have.
Hasek's one of the greatest goaltenders that ever played the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Osgood is like the top 100.
Yeah, so that was the one thing in outside of Dylan Larkin being on here too. You're throwing him up there with guys like Chris Chelios and Brendan Shanahan, who have been top players in the NHL for a while. Well, are still, but I don't know if Dylan Larkin should be second team Detroit Red Wings mid-century team. That one just seemed kind of funky.
Yeah, they must have just ran out of ideas or people. I was thinking of the one guy. I can't think of his name, but he was on the Red Wings for a little bit, but then he went to the Thrashers to kind of like end it. I think he won 2 cups for the Red Wings, but it was in the late '90s cups. I can't think of his name though. It's like Volev or something. Something like that. I thought he would maybe replace Dylan Larkin, but I don't know, like, because he wasn't on the team that long. And if you're going quarter century, like, yeah, he was in the mid '90s, but he was mostly like a thrasher in the 2000s. But I think he would be better than Dylan Larkin.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess my guess is just because it's a Larkin who grew up in the Detroit area watching Red Wings legends like him, ranked 3rd in goals, 225, 4th in points, 535, and 5th in assists for the Red Wings. I mean, I guess you could see that. I could see that.
And because he's a captain following Zetterberg,
guys, or Yzerman and Lindstrom. I mean, those are guys that are those are some of the best NHL players that we've seen in quite some time. That whole Detroit Red Wings team in late 2000s to late 90s to 2000s, mid 2000s they were good teams.
Yeah.
And Yzerman is just, I don't know what he's doing in Detroit.
Yeah.
As a GM.
Yeah. I just thought I'd get your thoughts on that. I know they've been dropping those almost every day. The New York Islanders one dropped.
That one was so weird. That one was weird. That one was weird.
I saw the Minnesota Wild had theirs too. And I'm like, how can?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Who's in the Minnesota Wild? We can pull it up.
The New Jersey one was interesting too. They had a few. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a little tough in the quarter century team for them.
Let's see if I can pull it up here. Check out the.
I'm curious for my Rangers because they're on Sunday. I think they said they would come out on Sunday. So I'm just curious of who is on that first team.
Carolina, Dallas. Here it is, Minnesota. Oh, you have the Seattle Kraken?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to look at this one.
Is Philip Gruber on the first team?
Hold on. Hold on. This will be the last thing, I promise.
Oh, my God.
Let me pull it up here.
What can you do in 3 years?
How do
you have Vince Dunn is okay?
Okay, they got Adam Larson.
He's like their best defenseman.
I don't.
Right.
Is on there.
I mean, they have to have their captain Jordan Everly on it.
Yeah,
first team. They have to. Okay, Joey DeCord. He's actually been really good this year.
Yeah, he just picked up did he pick up his 100th win?
I hope so, because there was that one where Philip Gruber started, gave up like 4 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and they were like, "All right, Joey, get back in there."
Mm-hmm. When he was in the Winter Classic last year, between Vegas and Seattle, I thought the guy played a heck of a game. He looked, I said, damn, like this guy's good. He just doesn't have a very good team around him, to be honest. Jared McCann, Vince Dunn, his first team Seattle Kraken defenseman. That blows my mind. God.
Team that's what? This is their 3rd year or 4th year?
Fourth
I think it's their 4th. Yeah.
Here the NHL's like, hey, make a quarter century team. Like we haven't been around for a quarter century, but okay.
Yeah.
That's why they have the.
There's got to be limits to these things. Like this is.
Like maybe at least be a quarter century old before you get to make a quarter century team.
Yeah. Right. What do you think Utah? Have they done Utah?
No, they couldn't. Wouldn't they use the? I thought I saw they did the Coyotes.
Did they do the Coyotes?
I thought they did.
They have a second team also. Matty Beniers, who should be first team.
They already got Brandon Montour on second team.
It's
Jaden Schwartz. Philip. There's Philip Gruber.
Oh,
second team. Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
Like
Matty Beniers.
Didn't Montour just go to Seattle?
Yeah, that's why I'm making fun. He was a Panther last year.
Boy.
Okay.
That's interesting.
That's
say the least.
funny.
Like, could you imagine the person who had to do these and be like, "Hey, we need one for Seattle," and they're like,
So just put their whole roster on it and just
"Yeah, everybody from the first year they were a team." Got it. Okay.
They were joking about Dylan Larkin on the Red Wings, and I was like, "Hold my beer, folks. Here we go."
Yeah.
put in Brandon Montour. The guy did a hat trick for us for a defenseman, but let's put him on the second team.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Be interesting to see what Vegas is, because they've been around 10 years now.
That makes more sense though.
Yeah, but still, it's a quarter century team. It's 25 years.
It's better than Seattle's.
I really hope they do Utah. Oh, I hope they do Utah.
I could have swore they did an Arizona one. I could have swore they did.
I mean,
they're like they can't do Utah because it is Phoenix. I thought I saw Mike's. Was it Mike Smith was on the first team or something?
Okay, they did do Arizona.
I was gonna say they had to have.
Yeah, they did Arizona. First team forward Shane Doan, Clayton Keller, Rabada. Defensemen Ekman Larson and Yandel, and then goalies Mike Smith. Second team, you have Martin Hansel, Jeremy Roenick, Nick Schmaltz. Schmaltz. Defensemen, you have McCulloch, and is it Niemanen? Tipo Niemanen. And then first team goalie, second team goalie, you have Brizgalov.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was there.
We're
not going to put Phil Kessel in any of these for Arizona.
Pavlo Datsuk, Chris Pronger, you got to add those guys.
Oh my god, I forgot they traded Datsuk to that, and he's like, "I'm just going to retire."
Kovalchuk, you got to put Kovalchuk on the team.
Oh my god, what about Derek Stepan? Come on, guys, Derek Stepan.
Oh, this will be fun. We'll look at some more teams next week. It's just because it's kind of fun just to see what some of the thought process and whatnot, and we're like, no, that guy definitely shouldn't be there, and whatnot. So, we'll end things today. Thanks for tuning in for the reboot. I guess not reboot. That sounds like we're remaking everything, because that's all movies are anymore, and TV shows are reboots. Yeah. So we'll see you, I guess, hopefully next week for a new episode of the 5 Hole, as Alexander Ovechkin's getting closer to all-time goals, trying to break Gretzky. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, share it out, and we'll see you next, I guess, Saturday morning.